Hello students, in today's lecture of Principles of Plant Biotechnology subject, we are going to learn about basics of genetic engineering, the next topic in our syllabus, that is which will start with molecular biology techniques and little bit about different techniques involved in genetic engineering. So we will start with first. So to start with, we'll first know about what is genetic engineering. It is also called as genetic modification and is the direct manipulation of organisms' genome using biotechnology. It is a set of technologies used to change genetic makeup of cells, including the transfer of genes within and across species boundaries to produce the improved and novel organism. So it is nothing but alteration, modification or manipulation of an organism's genome using biotechnology. So what we do in the genetic engineering, we modify a organism's genome. Organism could be a single cell organism or multicellular organisms like plants or animals or microorganisms. So we pull out a specific gene from one organism and we insert that gene into another organism where it could be beneficial to that organism, or we can use that host organism to produce a particular gene or particular product, protein product or final product, which could be the useful for mankind. So how we do it using certain set of technologies, like certain genetic engineering tools are used to change the genetic makeup of cells or transfer the genes within the species or across the species boundaries so as to produce the improved or novel organisms. So in the diagram here it is explained that how a single gene is isolated and modified. So for example, uh, a cell is there which is having a desired trait or property. For isolating a single gene, what we need to do, we have to isolate its genetic material, that is DNA, and from that complete DNA we will only isolate a gene which is responsible for that particular property or a trait. Now this isolated gene is then inserted into uh, a host organism or a plant in which we wanted to insert that particular gene, and this explant or plant parts were then grown in a growth medium, and from these small explants which were genetically transformed, various plants were developed using tissue culture approach, and then few plants were selected for the presence or absence of that particular desired trait which we inserted using a gene. So those plants who shows up the particular trait phenotypically, they are called as genetically modified plants. For example, here the seeds from mature plants are studied for successful transformation. We will study the phenotypic characteristics as well as whether the particular gene has been appeared in seeds of this plant. So this is nothing but the process of genetic engineering. Now, how it has been started in the history. So the term genetic engineering was first used by the science fiction novelist, not by any scientist. So in the year 1951, Jack Williamson used the term genetic engineering for the first time in his novel Dragon's Island. So it was not devised by any kind of any scientist. The term genetic engineering was first used by a novelist whose name is Jack Williamson in 1951 in his novel called Dragon's Island. Soon after that, the molecular structure of DNA was discovered. In 1953, Watson and Crick, the two scientists, devised or they have given the structure of DNA. Although the genetic experiments were popular since the time of Mendel, but exact structure of DNA by X-ray crystallography was given by Watson and Crick. Now the first recombinant DNA was then constructed using the restriction enzymes and various other tools by Paul Berg in 1972, almost 20 years after discovery of DNA. And in the same year, Herbert Boyer and Stanley Cohen, they performed the gene transfer experiments. Okay, so this is how the genetic engineering has begun. Then in 1974, Rudolf Janich has created genetically modified mice, the first time in the history of genetics. And after the success of Rudolf, the genetically modified or genetically engineered tobacco plant species were developed in 1976. And then after various crops, various microorganisms or various plants have been genetically transformed using various tools of genetic engineering. How one can carry out the gene transfer, that we are going to learn in the next slides. Now, what is genetic engineering? In simple words, genetic engineering can be described as manual addition of a new DNA into an organism. It's nothing but an artificial insertion, addition, deletion, or any kind of alteration, manipulation, or modification carried out in an DNA of an organism. Okay, it aids the addition of such traits that are not originally found in the organism. So no one does this purposefully. That means for the sake of transfer of genes, we don't add or we don't mix the genome of one organism with another. Why we do it? We wanted to improve the particular trait in that organisms in which it is not present originally. For example, there is a tobacco variety which is not having any kind of disease resistance, but there is another variety of tobacco which is having that particular trait. So how to transfer this trait from wild variety into a newly discovered variety is just by isolating the gene which is responsible for disease resistance, and that inserting that particular gene into new variety. So that's how it aids the addition of such traits that are not originally found in the organism. The recombinant DNA is required to create genetically modified organisms. That means we simply cannot cut and paste the gene. We require an intermediate molecule which will act as a vector to transfer the gene containing desired trait from one organism to another organism. Okay, so that particular intermediate molecule is called as a recombinant DNA. Why? Because it's a DNA of a vector along with inserted gene, and this entire vector is then transformed into the host cells. So as the host cells will take up the gene of interest from that molecule. So that's why recombinant DNA molecule is required. An area of chromosome or gene is spliced. So in the chromosome, whatever gene we require, desired trait gene is isolated and it is cut, spliced from the chromosome region and is then taken up, or it is then pasted onto a vector. Then genetic disorders in humans can be corrected using genetic engineering. So where this technology can be used to for correction of genetic disorders in humans, then for crop improvement programs, for artificially producing certain proteins, certain molecules using the microorganisms. In all these technologies, we can make the use of genetic engineering. So in more detail, we will learn how this can be done. Now, genetic engineering and recombinant DNA technologies, these are the analogical terms. Diversity of life is based on the differences in the genes, that is DNA. That is, one gene is responsible for one protein and that particular protein has certain function. Okay. If we change the gene or DNA, then what will happen? There would be a possibility of change in the function of the cell and ultimately the organism. We could modify gene that would alter the protein structure, and the altered protein would have a altered function. So that's how modifications carried out at the gene level has an impact at the functional level. Okay, That's why this genetic engineering is being done to modify the function of particular organism. Now, which tools are used to carry out the genetic engineering or to create the recombinant DNA molecules? How to combine the DNA or genes from two different organisms, and how the DNA is being cut and put back together. What kind of molecules could cut the DNA and put it back together again? All these questions have certain answers. So we will study these answers in the next slide. So in this diagram, genetic engineering concept is explained. So genetic engineering, it requires 4 steps. First, the generation of DNA fragments, joining those fragments with the vector or a carrier molecule. This vector is then introduced into host cells, and then once the host cell take up the gene, then we select the host cells which got transformed with the gene of interest, and then we will further grow these cells so as they will express that particular trait. It's an enabling technology which involves the cutting, modifying and joining the DNA molecules. So it is nothing but simply in the computer language, cut, copy, paste. But here the cutting requires certain types of enzymes. Like we cannot cut the DNA simply using a scissor. We need a different kind of molecular scissors which are known as enzymes, restriction enzymes, which has the power to cut the DNA at particular sequences. So restriction enzymes are required, and joining molecules, DNA joining molecules like pasting molecules are also required. These pasting enzymes are known as DNA ligase. So these are the two important tools which are used to cut the DNA from one organism and to join the DNA into host cell or into a vector molecule. It is also known as rDNA technology. Why? Because generally it leads to create the recombinant DNA molecule. That's why it is also called as a gene cloning or a rDNA technology. And it has various applications in basic research, medicinal field, then in industry, and then in agriculture. But all these finally have certain issues, ethical issues, legal issues, safety issues, where certain committees are there which will permit whether to carry out particular research on a particular crop or on a particular animal. So this is how genetic engineering term can be described. So what is the main theme or dogma of this technology? We first go for isolating source of gene, disease resistant plant for example. For this disease resistance is actually due to certain gene. So this gene is present on the chromosome, and this particular chromosomal gene fragment is then isolated using the restriction enzymes. These restriction enzymes will go and give a cut over here, exactly isolating only the gene of interest, and the rest of the DNA will not be used. Only this DNA is then cut using restriction enzymes, and this is then recombined into the recipient plant DNA genome. So the plant in which you wanted to insert this gene, the cut gene and the recipient gene were mixed together, and then the ligase enzyme will come and will help this DNA to join with the recipient DNA. So that's the core technology. Here for cutting we use restriction enzymes, for joining we use the ligase enzyme. So these molecular scissors and molecular glue, this is called as molecular glue. Why? Because it joins the DNA nicks. It will cause this DNA molecule to glued with the recipient genome, whereas here restriction enzymes causes the cuts into the DNA strands, double stranded DNA strands. So these are the two enzymes which are very much used in genetic engineering technology. Now there are certain steps involved in the genetic modification. Which are those steps? So first step is identification of what kind of gene or which gene we wanted to insert. That you need to first study which gene you wanted to incorporate. Then once you identified that particular gene is responsible for particular trait, for example, this gene is responsible for disease resistance, then what you will do, you will get the sequence of that gene, where it is present in the genome, at what position, and then with the help of restriction enzyme you will isolate that gene, cut that gene from the main genome. Then this gene is then placed into another molecule which is called as vehicle or carrier molecule or vector molecule. Will insert it into the vector molecule, will patch up over there, and we will multiply this vector in a host system or a bacterial system, where the bacteria will clone this molecule in multiple numbers. Now this, after this cloning is done, identical copies of your recombinant DNA molecule has been created in large numbers. What we will do, we'll coat these copies over onto a tungsten or gold particles in a gene gun, and will bombard these gold particles coated with these recombinant DNA molecules onto a soft tissues of plants or callus tissue or cell suspension cultures, or will directly mix these molecules along with the plant cells. So after bombarding or after mixing the genetically engineered molecules with the plant cells, certain plants will take up the DNA, certain plants will not, certain plant cells will not take up the DNA. Then for that we have to select the plant cells with certain selective agents, like some antibiotic resistant genes, or certain antibiotics or certain chemicals are used to select the specific cells which have taken up the DNA. Now only those cells are allowed to grow in a plant regeneration experiment, and then further, after growing them fully with shoots and roots in a tissue culture technology, will plant them in the field and will study their expression, gene expression, expression or phenotypic characteristics, whether the plant have taken up that particular gene of your interest at the first step. So these are the steps involved in carrying out the genetic modifications in the plant. Now certain tools are required. Which are those tools? The first tool is restriction enzyme. So restriction enzymes are used to isolate the required gene, leaving it with sticky ends. Sticky ends are short sections of unpaired bases. So these molecular tools or restriction enzymes are used, which will actually have an effect of cutting the DNA into small pieces, like shown over here. They will go and they will cut at specific sequences in the DNA and creating the sequence, which are very much useful for genetic engineering technology. Then second thing you need is a vector molecule. It's also a double circular or single stranded DNA molecule, usually the bacterial plasmids, then viruses, some certain non-virulent viruses, sometimes the yeast genome, then certain artificial synthesized genomes can be also used as a vector molecule, vehicle molecule, or a carrier molecule. So these are the carrier molecule in which we will use them for inserting the gene of interest from one organism into these vectors. These vectors are also cut using the same restriction enzymes which was used to cut the organism's genome, and there will be a cut, and whatever fragment you want to insert, you can easily insert by mixing your fragment along with the vector. So these are called as cloning vectors. Why? Because they take up the gene of interest. Then the joining of this in the DNA fragment from the donor organism is generally being done using a ligase enzyme or a molecular glue. Okay, so this ligase enzyme, what it functions, what is the function of that enzyme is sealing the nicks created in the DNA strands. So it has a gluing effect. It will join the sticky ends with one another by creating the hydrogen bonds and sealing the nicks created within the double-stranded DNA. Okay, so it has the property of joining the sugar phosphate bonds in the DNA strand. So that's why it is called as ligase enzyme or glue enzyme. Then the fourth tool we require, whatever molecule we have created using cut gene which was inserted into vector, then that vector molecule has that particular gene. We place these vectors into host cells. We require host cells to grow or to multiply the copies of your recombinant DNA molecule. So host cells are required. The genes are transferred to either animal host cells, plant cells or microorganism cells during the early development, which allows them to develop with the desired characteristics. So we require 4 genetic engineering tools. One is restriction enzyme, second is vector or vehicle molecule, third is DNA ligase enzyme, and fourth is host cells, in which we will create the multiple copies of our recombinant DNA molecules. So all these are collectively called as tools used in the genetic engineering. Then what is the process of genetic engineering? There are 5 steps mainly involved in cloning, genetic engineering or genetic modification. So the first is selection and isolation of candidate gene. Generally, whatever gene we wanted to isolate, we have to first identify it and select it, and we have to isolate it using the restriction enzyme technology. Then second is selection and construction of plasmid. Then second thing, what we need to do, we have to place this gene of interest into a vector molecule. Generally used vector is plasmid. Apart from plasmid, we can also go for selecting various vectors like bacterial plasmids, then viral DNA or RNA, viroids, prions, or certain yeast artificial vectors can be also used as an vector. So selection of vector depends on how much is the size of your original gene. Based on that, you will select the type of vector you want to use for genetic engineering experiment. Then third thing is gene transformation. You will insert that particular vector directly into a host organism. Okay, directly host cells or host organism. So gene transformation is being done. Insertion of DNA into the host genome is done. And then finally confirmation of insert is done. So once you infect your host cells with that particular vector containing your gene of insert, finally you have to go for selection based on various techniques like genetic assays. Various assays are there to identify whether your gene is inserted or not. For example, various PCR methodologies are there. PCR technique is there, blotting technique is there, Southern blotting. Even ELISA techniques are there to identify whether your gene have been expressed into the host cells or not. So this is the process of genetic engineering. Now, already I have explained you the 6 steps of DNA technology. First is isolating the gene, cutting the gene from original organism, then joining that gene into a vector molecule, transforming that particular rDNA molecule into a host cells or host organism, cloning, producing that particular recombinant DNA in multiple copies, and finally selecting the cells which shows the expression of that particular gene. So these are the 6 steps of recombinant DNA technologies. Now, essential components of genetic engineering are the transgene. The gene, donor gene or whatever gene of interest is also called as a transgene. The vector in which it is inserted is called as vector molecule, DNA vehicle molecule. Generally, it is a plasmid or viral DNA which will accommodate the desired gene into its own genome, and then it is used to transfect to either bacterial host, animal host, or plant host. So here the example is given how one can create a insect resistant tomato plant. For example, in this step, which is what is given, bacterial DNA is given. That bacterial DNA has a insect resistance gene. Okay, for example, in tomato particular pest is there, but that pest has certain pathogen also. That pest is susceptible to bacteria. This bacteria is pathogenic to that particular pest. Now what we will do, we'll isolate that gene which is responsible for pathogenicity to that particular insect, and we'll insert that gene directly into the plant, so that after eating or after feeding on that plant, the insect will ingest the bacterial endotoxin and will die over there. So first step is cut that particular gene from the bacterial pathogen, insert that gene into a vector molecule, and this molecule is allowed to grow into bacterial cells so as the number of copies will be multiplied. And then once you have enough number of this recombinant DNA molecule along with the bacterial endotoxin gene, will coat that vector on a gold or tungsten particles. These tungsten particles were loaded into the gun, gene gun, Teflon bullet, and this bullet or this gene gun is then bombarded onto soft callus tissue developed out of tomato cells. So tomato explant is grown into callus mass, and we will bombard the gene of interest onto that callus cells. Callus cells will take up the gene. Okay, this vector will release the gene and it will be absorbed into the host cell's genome, host cell's DNA. The cells were then plated onto Petri plate or agar, and by selection methodology we will select the only cells which have which got inserted with the particular gene, and we will develop the tomato plants. These plants generally shows the insect resistance. Why? Because every cell of this plant has a gene copy. Once the insect will try to feed on the leaves by eating the leaves or by sucking the sap, generally this gene will go into its gut system and will damage its gut system or any system which is that toxin will go into his system and will cause the death of that particular insect, and thereby making your plant free of pests. So this is how the strategy is designed, or the steps are designed while creating the insect resistant tomato plant, or BT cotton plant is also a good example, where first the Cry1 protein gene was taken. It was inserted into a vector. This Cry1 containing vector is then inserted into host bacteria, was multiplied in large number, and then finally it is inserted into the cotton explant or cotton callus tissue, and the plants which were developed from these callus tissue was then shown to be insect resistant to bollworm. So this is the strategy for obtaining the genetically modified plants. So steps are nothing but identifying the trait of interest, then isolating the genetic trait of interest, inserting that desired trait into a new genome vector molecule, and then this vector molecule is either bombarded directly onto the seeds or soft cells of callus mass, and then from that callus, generally in a carefully controlled growth chambers, we grow the newly genetically modified plants. So this is the technology of producing genetically modified plants. Now, gene cloning. in the process of genetic engineering, we have to clone the gene in multiple numbers, and that technology is known as gene cloning. A clone can be anything identical. Here it is a DNA or gene. Making the copies of clones of DNA is known as genetic cloning. For example, we have this recombinant molecule in which your gene of interest and your vector molecule is there, but it's in number 1. That means it is present in only one number. You want to multiply it. You cannot artificially grow it. For growing it in multiple numbers, you have to place it into bacteria. So bacteria will multiply it. Using the bacterial cytoplasm, this copy number of this particular recombinant DNA molecule is gonna increase. In using bacterial system, it grows in number, and whenever we break these bacterial cells, we can obtain or harvest the many copies of your transgene. So this technology of cloning of your recombinant molecule in multiple numbers is known as gene cloning. It requires the combination of restriction, digestion, ligation, polymerization to make the copies of DNA artificially. And it is very widely used in the recombinant DNA experiments and genetic engineering. Now, what is the use of genetic cloning or gene cloning? Is generally to build a library of genes. Like we have library of books, there is also a library of DNA fragments. It's a collection of cloned DNA fragments from a particular organisms. For example, there would be a library of BTG, Bacillus thuringiensis cry1a protein gene. And how it is being created? By placing that cry1a protein into a vector molecule and allowing that vector molecule to multiply in a bacterial system. So once the bacteria produces a number of copies of this cry1a protein, will isolate it, that gene again from that bacteria, and will place it into a collection. Like it is stored in the particular solution where all the fragments will be are all alike. They are the BT1 cry1a protein gene fragments. Whenever we want to insert it into a cotton explant, we will take up few ml of that solution. We will either coat it onto tungsten particles or will directly transform the cotton explants with that solution. Understood? That is called as DNA library. It can be saved for a relatively long period of time and screened to pick out different genes of interest. Now there are two types of libraries exist: genomic library and cDNA library. Genomic library generally contains the DNA sequences from entire genome, while cDNA library contains the DNA copies of mRNA molecules which are now genomic library and cDNA library, these are the two libraries which can be constructed in order to create a collection of pool of genes or DNAs or collection or pool of cDNAs. Okay, so first of all we will see about what is genomic library. So in this, what we do generally, we isolate the DNA from cells of an organism of which we want to build a library. For example, if we want to build a library of human DNA, we will take the cells, we will take out the DNA from out of the cells, and what we'll do, we'll digest the DNA with certain restriction enzymes. So restriction enzymes will chop up the DNA into small genes or the small fragments. The same restriction enzymes are also used to chop up the vector molecules like plasmid vectors. So they will give the cuts within the vector molecules, they will give the cuts within the DNA and will yield numerous DNA fragments. As they have been cut with the same restriction enzymes, that's why whenever we mix these vectors along with the fragments of DNA, usually because of the sticky ends at the end of the DNA, they are cohesive. That means whenever we will mix these two molecules like vector DNA and your desired DNA, they will generally form a circle. They will anneal with one another. Here DNA ligase will generally seal the nicks, creating the recombinant DNA molecule. So you have a recombinant DNA molecule which is completely sealed DNA molecule containing the vector DNA and your gene of interest inserted into bacteria. Now these vectors were inserted into a live system such as bacterial cells, where bacterial DNA or bacterial cytoplasm will help the recombinant DNA molecule to replicate or clone into multiple copies. Whenever number of bacterias divide, what they do, they generally multiply the copies of your original vector molecule in their DNA. So bacteria will have multiple number of copies in their genome, and all these multiple copies were then isolated from bacteria and then preserved in a ampules or test tubes as a collection of genomic DNA library fragments. Like, you will have all the genes present within this library. If you want to pick one gene or you want to pick another gene, you have that set of genes already present in multiple numbers in this tube. For example, this is the tube of human genome or human gene number 1. So it has multiple fragments. You can take out single fragment and you can start the experimenting with that particular fragment. So that is the concept of genomic library. Okay. In cDNA library, what is being done? Generally, mRNA, messenger RNA generally were taken. Usually these are the RNA fragments present within the cell cytoplasm, and they code for particular protein. Okay. Whenever reverse transcriptase carry out the transcription, what happens generally, cDNAs or the small proteins will be created. So in cDNA library, reverse transcription generally causes the single stranded cDNA, complementary DNA to be prepared. So what we do, we generally cleave this complementary DNA. Complementary DNA fragments were then attached with vector DNA molecule. You will get the recombinant DNA molecule. Here, this DNA molecule is then multiplied using bacterial system. They are allowed to grow in the bacterial cells. Bacteria multiply, divide, and along with their division, they also multiply the copies of your original vector molecule. And then they were isolated and cultured or stored in ampules. And this kind of collection of genes of cDNA is called as cDNA library. Compared to genomic library, cDNA library contains the more specific genes to be contained in the library content. Then this is the process of producing human insulin gene. For example, you have a DNA which is isolated from beta cells of Langerhans present within your pancreas. Okay, pancreas contains the cells which are responsible for production of insulin. So we'll isolate the DNA from beta cells of Langerhans of present within pancreas of human, and from those cells we will isolate the insulin. Okay, now this is the fragment responsible for production of insulin. Now we will clone that fragment within the bacterial plasmid vector, creating a recombinant DNA molecule. Now this bacterial plasmid with human insulin gene is then backplaced into bacterial cell, where it will multiply in numbers, and the bacteria will divide. It will have a colony of its original cell having ability to produce multiple number of copies of your recombinant DNA molecule, rDNA molecule containing the insulin gene. Now what we can do, we on a mass scale production, we will grow this bacteria into a bioreactor system or fermenter system, where the thousands of liters of bacteria media is there in which you grow the bacteria. And once your fermentation is completed, you got enough numbers of large number of bacterial colonies, everyone having the ability to produce the rDNA molecule containing insulin. What we'll do, we'll purify the this vector molecule, and this insulin ready for distribution. We'll harvest, purify, and we'll sell this insulin, which is bacterial origin, into a ampules or vials, and this is called as genetically engineered insulin hormone. Okay, so this is how insulin protein is being produced and is used to treat the patients with diabetes. Now we can also use the another approach for transforming the plants or producing transgenic animals, like agrobacteria mediated plant transformation, in which agrobacteria rhizogenes or agrobacteria tumefaciens, these two organisms are generally used. They are natural genetic engineer. So agrobacteria containing Ti plasmid. Now they contain the specific kind of plasmid which is called as Ti plasmid. What we do in using this Ti plasmid, we'll remove the virulent genes from the Ti plasmid and we'll place the desired gene of interest into that place. So your this plasmid, Ti plasmid, becomes the genetically recombinant. We'll place that plasmid back into the bacterial cell and allow that bacteria to invade the plants, explants, or small discs of plants, leaves, which is the technology is called as co-cultivation, where agrobacteria culture is added to the callus culture of a rice. For example, here the rice cells were given in the petri dish. Agrobacteria infect the callus cells. So what this bacteria will do, it will infect the callus cells, and tDNA present within its Ti plasmid will be transferred into the cells of rice plant naturally, integrate into the chromosomal DNA of the callus cells, and the callus cells become transformed. Now, out of these many callus colonies, very few colonies will have complete transformation. So their selection is generally done by white-blue selection methodology, where transformed cells looks white in color and resistant to selection agent, herbicide or antibiotic, and non-transformed cells generally eventually die. So in this Ti plasmid, what we do, we also incorporate the antibiotic resistance gene. That's why the colonies in which the your desired gene have been gone, they will be ultimately resistant to the herbicide, because already they have herbicide resistance gene along with the gene of interest. That's why those colonies will survive. The colonies which were non-transformed, they will eventually die. So we'll only allow to grow these colonies into the tissue culture methodology, and where they further grow into complete plantlets, hardened and raised as a transgenic plants, in which you have the your original gene which you wanted to insert. Another methodology is in planta transformation, in which flowering inflorescence, flowering Arabidopsis is inverted so that flowers dip into the agrobacterium culture in a bell jar. So what we do, we invert this inflorescence is dipped into bell jar, and generally agrobacteria will infect the inflorescence flowers. Okay, small florets within the inflorescence. Now after application of vacuum helps the bacterial infiltration. What we do, we'll put this inflorescence into vacuum bag, where whenever we remove the vacuum, what will happen, the bacteria goes into the tissue. Plants are removed and grown, flowers are allowed to self, and seeds are germinated in the selection agent, so that only transformed seedlings, 10% of the total, will develop. So after vacuum infiltration, we will grow them outside, and generally the seeds or the flowers will contain the particular gene. So that's how agrobacteria mediated plant transformation can take place using a bacteria called as Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Now a new technology have also came into existence recently, which is called as CRISPR Cas9 gene editing technology, where a DNA editing technique called as CRISPR Cas9 works like a biological version of word processing program, find and replace function. Like in Word, we have find and replace. We find a particular word and we replace that particular word with another word, right? So in similar way, if a defective gene is present within the genome, we have to find that particular gene along with the replacing gene. Okay, and that is assisted using a program called as CRISPR Cas9 enzyme gene enzyme complex. So Here the guide molecule is your replace molecule, okay, which will help to find the defective DNA strand. Then healthy DNA molecule is an insert, replace molecule, and DNA cutting enzyme is a function to find and replace. Like we have a, when we we click on a find and replace tab into the word, what generally happens? Generally that tab will take up to the that particular word in that document, and there we will give the command find and replace, where all the words will be replaced by the word which we want to incorporate. Similarly, here DNA cutting enzyme will act as that window in the word. A specially designed synthetic guide molecule finds the target DNA strand. So DNA is very huge. When we want to find a particular DNA, we have to prepare a guide molecule. Now, an enzyme also attaches along with that guide molecule to a defective piece. So what happens? This enzyme helps to cut that defective molecule from the original DNA. Okay, and replacing guide molecule function is to find the exact location on the DNA. After that, DNA cutting enzyme will come over there and it will cut that DNA, will cut that defective DNA strand, and then comes the healthy DNA copy, which will replace that defective piece within the DNA. So this is how this DNA editing function or the DNA editing enzyme complex will work in a biological system to edit the defective genes. And this is being used nowadays at large in plants and animals, and also in microorganisms. Now, all these technologies, how they benefit the humankind or mankind is generally by the means of production of genetically modified crops, which are nowadays boon to agriculture with improved agricultural traits. Then crops that are drought resistant, disease resistant can be also grown with the help of genetic engineering. As described earlier, genetic disorders within humans can be treated. The diseases like malaria, dengue can be eliminated by sterilizing the mosquitoes using genetic engineering technique, and also it is used for therapeutic cloning of genes like insulin gene or insulin hormone is being produced. Now various different kinds of cancer interferons or interleukin molecules are also being cloned using genetic engineering technology. And the recent example is production of vaccine for corona. It's also an example of genetic engineering. It is genetically engineered vaccine. Along with adenovirus, you have combined the genes of corona capsule gene. So it's an example of genetic engineering only. Now, what are the advantages of genetic engineering? Genetically modified crops are boon to humankind. So genetic engineering made it possible to create crop varieties regarded as more beneficial in terms of coming up with the crops with the desired traits. For example, genetically engineered plant like BT cotton with more desirable traits, and there are drought resistant plant, disease resistant crops, plants that grow faster, and plants fortified with more nutrients, biofortified plants. We can able to grow these kinds of plants with the help of genetic engineering technology. Through genetic engineering, genetic disorders may can also be get fixed by replacing the faulty gene with the functional gene. The disease carrying insects such as mosquitoes may be engineered to become sterile insects so that there will be no malaria or dengue can be transmitted. This will help in curbing the spread of certain diseases, malaria and dengue fever. Then therapeutic cloning, process whereby embryonic cells are cloned to obtain biological organs for transplantation. Also, we can create the artificial organs using the genetic engineering technology, where stem cells are cloned and able to grow into an organ. These artificial organs will be helpful for transplantation, organ transplantation technique. But all of this is being regulated by certain bodies. Like in India, we have GIAC body, Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee is the full form of GIAC. It is created under the Ministry of Environment and Forests. So it again has 5 bodies authorized to handle the rules noted under Environmental Protection Act 1986. Rules for manufacture, use, import, export, and storage of hazardous microorganisms or genetically engineered organisms or cells, 1989. So, five bodies are Institutional Biosafety Committees, IBSCs, then Review Committee of Genetic Manipulation, RCGM, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee, then the State Biotechnology Coordination Committee, SBCC, and the District Level Committee. So in coordination with all these five committees, generally the Ministry of Environment and Forests will decide whether to import, use, store the hazardous microorganisms or genetically engineered organisms and their use in India or their cultivation in India. Now, three crops were being used till the date in India were BT cotton, BT brinjal, and GM mustard. So, in BT cotton is largely used, is the first crop which was allowed to grow or cultivate in India. Then in 2000, it came in 2002, BT cotton. In 2009, the MICO tried to grow the BT brinjal, but the trials were opposed by certain opponents, and it was then blocked from production. Then comes the GM mustard in 2017. The variety GMH11, which was developed by Delhi University professors, was again yet to be allowed to be cultivated. It will be the first genetically modified food crop in the country. But again, it is under question by GIAC and other committees. So all these three crops were genetically modified crops which were grown in India, or which were under consideration to grow in India. Other crops which were genetically modified, like golden rice is there. The rice which was fortified by daffodil genes, vitamin A genes, to have more beta carotene, which body converts into vitamin A. So it has a precursor molecule, beta carotene, which was then converted into vitamin A by human body. And the rice variety is called as golden rice. Then certain salt resistant tomato varieties are also there. Tomatoes modified to grow well in saline soils. Then BT corn modified with bacterial insecticide genes so that it produces insect resistant toxins within its cells. Then factor IX sheep, like sheep modified with human clotting factor 9 gene so that they produce the clotting factor in their milk for hemophiliacs, the patients which have the blood clotting problems. Then Roundup Ready soybean variety modified with herbicide resistance gene so that farmers can spray fields and kill the weeds, not the soybean plant. So that soybean plants have the herbicide resistance gene, so the plant will not get killed even after spraying with the weedicide. Then Rainbow Papaya variety, papaya modified with viral genes that make it immune to papaya ring spot virus. So all these are the advances or achievements in production of genetically modified plants in the agriculture. So this is all about the topic genetic engineering. What are their different steps involved in the genetic engineering? What is gene cloning? Then what are different tools used for carrying out the transformation? Then the concept of genetically modified organisms and the examples of genetically modified plants. So this is all about genetic engineering topic. In the next topic, we are going to learn about different techniques used in the genetic engineering, like blotting techniques are there, then DNA fingerprinting technique is there, PCR technique is there, and how all these techniques are used for marker assisted selection or marker assisted breeding in plants. Okay, so thank you very much for listening with patience. Thanks again.